We started looking for houses in March of 2020. So when everybody else was locking down for COVID, Danny and I were out searching for a house. So a friend of ours that owned the house called us up and let us know it was available. And we started from that point. We could tell the first time that we saw the house that there was a lot of work that needed to be done.
And I mean, just the brush on the outside, you could not see the house at all, from the honeysuckle to the mulberry trees and all the overgrowth of it. You couldn't see anything. And plus the ivy, everything was growing into the house. So it was, we knew we had a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah, well, we used a 203K plan to actually purchase the house and to renovate. So when we started looking for houses, we actually did not look for a house that we needed to rehab. We were looking at turnkeys and we can move in. But we really liked the property. We liked the location. We liked the neighborhood. It has a lot of historical significance, and so we wanted to be a part of that. So at first we were thinking that we had to buy the house and then go out and get a loan for the rehab, and we weren't sure how that worked. And some of our friends out in Xenia were actually doing the same kind of thing.
Yeah, well, when you got a house, like when we talked about before, the best part of having a 203K loan is you get to package the mortgage with the construction that's being done on the house. So it's helpful to do that. It's affordable to do that way.
Well, there's a lot leading up to actually working the 203K plan. So first of all, you find a property that you want to rehab, and you go in just like any other house and you have an inspection. We had the house completely inspected, top to bottom, to find out exactly what are we looking at. Do we have a good roof? Do we have a good foundation? Every time we talked to the contractor, they said, or the inspector, they said, we have a great bones to this house. It's going to need a lot of work though. So once you get that established and you get an idea of, first of all, how much the seller wants to sell the house, and then how much it's going to take to rehab the house, then you can come up with your loan amount. So we came up with about $200,000 was the price of the house and the rehab. So once you get that identified, then you start going out and you start looking at 203K consultants. Okay, so you're not in this project by yourself. You're working with other people to help guide you through it, which really, really helps the situation. They are deemed by the federal government, so they are going to be working on your behalf as far as the buyer and as the person that's putting the money into it. And they're also going to help with the contractor in identifying what needs to be fixed, how it's going to be fixed, a budget. So all of that is done with the 203K.
Yeah, and the consultants, like an ombudsman, as Jefferson said, to repeat that again, they will, if the contractor is too high on the budget, they are skilled to know what the basic price range and price points are. If they're too low on that, they will also point that out, because they'll think, why is that so low? So they will scrutinize every part of that, and they will make sure that, of course, they're not responsible for any major conflicts that may happen between the contractor or the client, but they will make sure that everything goes smoothly, things will be paid in a timely fashion, and they're educated, so they do help the client, if they're not experienced in that, know kind of like what the ins and outs are, what to expect, and when they come in and check things out, that they are that everybody's on track. They let the client know that, so there's no so nothing falls through the cracks, or although still things can, but they still help that a lot.
Yeah, after you get your 203K consultant, and I think we both would agree, interview a lot of them, go out, find the list of 203 consultants, interview every single one of them. I think that's something that we could have done a better job of at the beginning. However, we ended up with a really nice consultant, and she helped us through everything we needed. So once you have identified your consultant, then you go to the banks and you start shopping for your loan. It's not a conventional loan like you would think. A lot of banks, matter of fact, we went to Fifth Third, and it was great banking. I have nothing against Fifth Third, but they just don't have a real strong 203K mortgage department. So finally, we did go with a mortgage company that the 203K consultant had recommended, and they have worked with them in the past on how to navigate that loan. Okay.
So, and what they will do, their client will bring in contractors, that they would be interested in, and then they bring them in, and then they are interviewed on their skills on dealing with. Your contractor needs to be also skilled in dealing with the 203K loan. So the consultant will deal with the contractors and kind of interview them and kind of go over that. So you basically kind of weed out what contractors will, or what are the best contractors for it. And obviously, as a lot of people have heard, just because someone is cheapest does not necessarily make them the best. So the consultant makes sure that the price points, again, on that, to repeat that again, are within the parameters of what supplies and labor is. So they're checking that stuff out as well. No, so what you said, does the contractor submit the cost? All that before you even start the project is all on a sheet. It's all bidded out. It's all line item. Every detail of it is line item. There is a miscellaneous line item for like a 10% cost of unforeseen things and things like that. But all that is mapped out. Obviously, if as clients said, we want this, this, and this, we can do whatever we want, but that's an extra on top of that.
So when we started with getting to that point about, how much it's going to cost, and we put everything down that we wanted on this house. Even if, there was no way that we didn't think we were ever going to get it. We just did pie in the sky. What would we like to live with? What can we do without? But mostly it was like, just throw everything down on that. And then it was a report that the 203K consultant had put together. And then what is really nice about that is that we can send that same report to every single contractor to say, this is what we want to have done. So every single person is looking at a document, they are understanding what your expectations are, and they can also evaluate to find out how much they're going to invest in it.